do the work for us behind the scenes every day. It truly takes a village.
Season is not a strategy. It's a panic response to an unstated ultimatum. It's the sound of the front office finally bending.
You can almost hear it. The sound of panic echoing through the Fever's front office as they finally face the one demand from the most valuable player alive. Win now or watch her walk. Caitlin Clark's contract may still be locked. But let's not pretend everyone can't hear the threat humming in the background. She dragged this franchise from irrelevance and single-handedly revived an entire league. Yet somehow Indiana still can't give her a proper supporting cast. Now the GM's racing to build a super team, not because it's genius strategy, but because if they don't, the WNBA's about to witness a breakup so loud it'll shake women's basketball to its core. The countdown's already started, and what Fever management does next could either save the league or blow it sky high. This isn't gossip. It's grim reality. The once mighty Indiana Fever, proud owners of a 2012 championship banner, spent nearly a decade swimming in mediocrity until Caitlin Clark, the #1 pick of 2024, flipped the script overnight. Tickets vanished, ratings soared. Jerseys sold like wildfire. The ripple effect was so massive it forced the entire league to rebuild its business model. But fame doesn't equal trophies. Here's the punchline. Clark is the most underpaid superstar in all of pro sports. Her rookie deal? A 4-year coupon that wouldn't cover an NBA benchwarmer's rent. The WNBA's salary cap cage keeps its brightest star earning pennies while she fuels an empire. Sure, she's cashing an 8-year, $28 million Nike check and shrugging off that $5 million Big Three offer, but the truth is simple. The league runs on Clark's name. Her demand for a title contender isn't ego. It's survival. She's already delivered the cash, the ratings, and the hype. Attendance tripled. Arenas sold out coast to coast. Yet all she's asking for now is a team that can actually win. Broadcast deals? Rewritten sponsors? Throwing money like confetti. The WNBA's TV package? Expanded overnight. And why? Because of one woman, Caitlin Clark. Now the Fever owe her a championship, plain and simple. She's made them millions, yet gets paid like an intern. It's a financial crime dressed up as team building. When a single player rewrites the entire economy of a sport, the least her franchise can do is give her a team worth her time. Anything less isn't just lazy, it's malpractice. The front office knows it, ownership knows it. And most of all, Clark knows it. Her rookie season wasn't a welcome party. It was a war zone. Cheap shots, flagrant fouls, and veteran tests that looked more like ambushes. Every game turned into a national circus. Not about basketball, but about whether the Golden Girl could survive the grind. Some called it hazing, others earning respect. Whatever it was, it proved one thing. The league didn't just challenge Clark, it targeted her. Then came the betrayal no one saw coming, the Olympic snub. The most famous player in women's basketball, fresh off back-to-back NCAA finals and record-shattering viewership, left off Team USA. The excuse? Roster continuity. Translation, the old guard didn't want the rookie stealing their shine. That move told the world what Clark already knew. The establishment wasn't ready to share the throne. That insult flipped a switch. The polite prodigy turned into a woman on a mission. Her message to Indiana's front office became crystal clear. Build a powerhouse or watch me walk. And as the 2026 offseason dawned, chaos reigned. The CBA was expiring, free agency rules hung in limbo, expansion teams were forming, and the Fever? Only 3 players locked in. The rest of the roster? A blank canvas that could end in glory or explode spectacularly. Everything now hinges on Kelsey Mitchell, the heartbeat of the team, and the veteran who carried the Fever through endless losing seasons. She's been the rock while rosters fell apart and rebuilt again. In 2024, she averaged over 19 points a game, giving Caitlin Clark the breathing room she needed to drag this team back to the playoffs. Their chemistry? Instant. It wasn't just teamwork. It was destiny on hardwood. Mitchell took Clark under her wing, handled the spotlight imbalance with grace, and never showed a trace of envy. But now comes the real test. Mitchell is an unrestricted free agent, free to walk away. And if the Fever fail to re-sign their most loyal warrior, it won't just be a front office blunder. It'll be a catastrophic failure. To Clark, it would scream one thing: this franchise can't protect its own. Losing Mitchell wouldn't just hurt the roster. It would shatter the trust that holds the entire foundation together. And as bad as that sounds, the true chaos brews behind closed doors. GM Amber Cox keeps preaching her favorite slogan, "Control the controllables." Sounds calm, sounds corporate, but beneath that tidy phrase hides raw panic. It's the language of someone scared to take risks, terrified of the unknown. And when you've got a generational superstar like Caitlin Clark, playing it safe isn't leadership. It's slow-motion disaster. That cautious philosophy only works when you have time, when your franchise player is patient, when your rebuild has breathing room. But the Fever? They have none of that. Clark's rookie deal runs through 2027, but her influence has already outgrown the contract. She has power, leverage, and a global platform that gives her options most players only dream about. And then came the leak, the one that exposed the front office's panic in full view. The Fever have quietly launched a global scouting network, the kind of international infrastructure other teams built years ago. Hidden inside that move is a confession, a decade of organizational failure finally coming to light. It's desperate, it's late, but maybe, just maybe, not too late. The Fever has been flying blind for years. No real system, no serious infrastructure to scout or recruit international talent. For a professional franchise, that's downright embarrassing. But now, backed into a corner, they've finally opened their wallets. This sudden global investment? It's not random. It's Caitlin Clark's silent ultimatum echoing through the halls. The Fever finally got the message: go big or go home. And so, the panic button has officially been smashed. The GM is under immense pressure, and the rumored Superteam blueprint sounds absolutely insane. What started as quiet whispers behind closed doors has turned into a league-wide thunderstorm. Reports say the Fever are targeting high-impact, championship-tested players from every corner of the market. Forget control the controllables. That ship has sailed. This is an all-in, win-now strategy fueled by equal parts desperation and ambition. One of the biggest names? Sophie Cunningham, the Phoenix. Mercury sharpshooter who could instantly unlock Clark's full offensive potential. Her nearly 40% shooting from deep last season is exactly the weapon Indiana's offense has been begging for. Add in her toughness, playoff experience, and locker room fire, and suddenly Clark would have the kind of reliable floor-spacing assassin every superstar dreams about. Cunningham's presence would stretch defenses thin and give Clark the open lanes she needs to dominate at full power. But the whispers don't stop there. Sources claim the Fever have been quietly reaching out to multiple international superstars, players forged in the fires of Europe's toughest professional leagues. Olympic medalists, champions, proven winners. Names like Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier are floating through the rumor mill, though their current contracts make them long shots. More realistic? European stars itching for the chance to play beside the WNBA's biggest global icon in a franchise finally acting like it wants to win. These aren't role players. These are difference makers. The Fever aren't just building a team. They're building a statement. This is about surrounding Clark with players she can trust in the final minutes of a finals game. Teammates who won't fold under pressure, who crave the spotlight as much as she does. The front office is practically screaming, "We hear you, Caitlin! We'll spend whatever it takes. Draft picks, salaries, future flexibility. It's all on the table now." Indiana is officially operating inside a pressure cooker. The only acceptable result is a championship-caliber roster, and everyone knows what's at stake. If they can't pull off this impossible super team rebuild, the WNBA risks losing its crown jewel. Clark may be under contract until 2027, but her market power and global pull give her the leverage of a superstar free agent. The next 18 months will decide everything. Whether the Fever rise as contenders or collapse under the weight of the player who rebuilt the entire league. If Indiana can't turn its cultural dominance into a legitimate championship roster by 2026, the Vultures are waiting. Powerhouses like the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty, armed with deep pockets, massive fan bases, and built-in winning cultures, are already circling. They'll either trade for Caitlin Clark or quietly convince her to force her way out once her contract allows it. And if not them, you can bet a shiny new expansion franchise backed by billionaire owners in hot markets like San Francisco or Nashville will come knocking, offering money, control, and a promise Indiana could never dream of matching. Teams can't keep greatness if they don't build smart and build fast. Every front office across the WNBA would have to rethink how they construct rosters and how players use their value as leverage inside a broken salary system. The ultimatum has already been placed, whether Clark ever says it out loud or not. The GM's safety net has vanished. Amber Cox, the mastermind behind the Control the Controllables slogan, has finally run out of things she can actually control. The illusion of patience and process has shattered, and now every move is under the microscope. Because the Fever's future, and arguably the WNBA's balance of power, now hangs by a single fragile thread. Indiana must build a title contender or watch their savior walk away to a franchise that can. The difference between stability and collapse could come down to how they handle their own locker room, starting with Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell has been the franchise's heartbeat, their most loyal, consistent scorer through years of chaos and losing. She averaged over 19 points a game in 2024, giving Clark the help she needed to end the team's playoff drought. Their chemistry was instant, electric, and authentic. Mitchell guided Clark through the brutal rookie gauntlet and never once complained about the massive spotlight imbalance. But now Mitchell's contract is up. She's free to sign anywhere, and if the Fever can't bring her back, it's more than just a bad move. It's a message of failure. Losing her would prove to Clark that the front office doesn't protect its own, that loyalty means nothing, that competence is optional. It would be the first crack in the fragile trust between superstar and franchise, a crack that could split the whole organization apart. And that looming disaster in the front office? It's no longer hidden. GM Amber Cox may still repeat her "control the controllables" mantra for the cameras, but behind the scenes, it sounds less like confidence and more like desperation. The pressure is suffocating. The stakes are sky high. And the clock is running out on the Fever's miracle era before it even begins. On the surface, it sounds like calm, sensible leadership, the kind that builds dynasties through patience and planning. But read between the lines, and you'll see the truth. This isn't confidence, it's fear. Amber Cox's so-called steady management is really a code for a front office terrified of what's coming, especially the new CBA rules that could blow up every plan they've built. It's the language of a GM afraid to take the bold, uncontrollable swings that a generational superstar like Caitlin Clark demands. That control the controllables mindset only works when you've got time, when your young talent is still developing, when expectations are low, when your franchise player is locked in and patient. But none of that applies in Indiana anymore. The Fever are out of time. Clark's rookie contract might technically run through 2027, but her influence gives her leverage right now. She's the lightning in a bottle the WNBA's been waiting for, and everyone knows it, and that's why the Fever have finally ditched the slow rebuild and gone nuclear. Leaks from inside the organization confirm it. A full-blown overhaul of their global scouting system, the kind of infrastructure other elite teams built years ago. It's an embarrassing confession, really. Proof that Indiana has been operating without a real plan to identify and sign international talent. For a professional franchise, that's inexcusable. But this new global network marks the first major concession to Clark's silent ultimatum. The Fever are finally swinging for the fences, finally acting like a team that wants to win now. The pressure has forced the GM's hand, and the result? A rumored Superteam blueprint so wild it's shaking the league. What started as quiet whispers in backrooms has become a thunderous roar across WNBA circles. Indiana is now reportedly chasing proven, championship-level players from every corner of the market. This isn't cautious management anymore. This is chaos dressed as ambition. Desperate? Absolutely, but also necessary. One of their top rumored targets? Sophie Cunningham, the Phoenix Mercury sharpshooter. Known for her fearless play and nearly 40% accuracy from three, she'd give Clark the spacing she's been missing and inject veteran grit into a young roster that's needed a backbone. Her playoff experience and ability to stretch, defenses would open up the floor, letting Clark attack at full power. But that's not all. The whispers get louder. The Fever are reportedly in covert talks with multiple international superstars, players forged in the crucible of Olympic competition and European leagues. Names like Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier have been tossed around in rumor mills. Unrealistic? Maybe. But the intent is clear. Indiana isn't just trying to compete anymore. They're trying to evolve. And for the first time in a decade, the Fever might actually be acting like a franchise that knows what's at stake. The more realistic targets aren't. The flashy WNBA names, they're European, champions who could be lured by the chance to play, alongside the league's biggest global phenomenon. These aren't bench fillers. These are certified game changers. Women who've already conquered the highest levels of international basketball. This isn't about adding another rotation. Body. It's about giving Caitlin Clark players she can trust in the final minutes of a championship game. Players who won't disappear when the lights are blinding and the moment burns hottest. The Fever front office knows they're desperate to prove to Clark and to the entire basketball world that they're serious, that they've heard her unspoken demand loud and clear, and they're ready to pay for it. In cash, in draft picks, in whatever currency it takes, to build a real contender. They've reached the point of no return. The organization is now living inside a pressure cooker where failure is not an option, because here's the brutal truth. If they can't pull off this near-impossible Superteam blueprint, the entire WNBA could lose its biggest draw. Sure, Clark's rookie deal runs through 2027, but her influence, market power, and brand dominance already give her the freedom of a top-tier free agent. The next 18 months will decide everything, whether Indiana turns her cultural impact into banners and trophies, or becomes the cautionary tale of a small market team that flew too close to the sun. And make no mistake, if Indiana can't build a championship roster by 2026, the Sharks are circling, the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty, franchises with massive budgets, glamorous markets, and championship pedigrees, will find a way to buy the Clark effect. Whether through trades, whispers, or behind-the-scenes persuasion, they'll make their move, and if not them, expect a shiny new expansion team backed by billionaire owners in hot-ticket cities like San Francisco or Nashville to throw out offers that Indiana can't even dream of matching. Money, roster control, full creative power. That's the ticking time bomb underneath the WNBA's success story. That loyalty only lasts as long as the wins do. A player as revolutionary as Clark doesn't just belong to one city. She belongs to the business of basketball itself. If Indiana drops the ball, they'll expose a fatal flaw in the league's foundation. That small market teams can draft greatness but can't keep it without competent, aggressive building around it. The fallout would be seismic, reshaping how every franchise operates, how agents negotiate, and how players weaponize their value in a league still boxed in by outdated salary rules. The ultimatum has already been placed. Even if no one says it out loud, the GM's excuses are gone. The mask of patience has been ripped off. And now, the fate of the WNBA's credibility, balance, and future star power rests on one impossible offseason. The Indiana Fever have no choice left. Build a championship contender, or watch their savior walk away to a team that actually knows how to win.